There's a post guy. I don't know. Let's see.
No, he'll talk to you. He wants people to know who he is.
Let's find out. Want to have a chat in the shade?
What's that?
Want to have a chat in the shade?
Sure.
There we go. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
What's your name?
Chris Harrigan.
Chris Harrigan.
Yeah.
Do I have to introduce myself? Or?
Yes.
Yes.
Because of the mask.
With a mask. I'm a blogger in this city.
Okay.
I'm the biggest blogger in New Brunswick.
Is it Chuckles LeBlanc?
Chuckles LeBlanc.
Yeah.
There we go. And then I'm also the biggest bullshitter you ever met in your life.
Oh, I don't know. There's a few in there.
There's a few in there. I know. We're at the legislature. So you're an independent journalist.
I'm an independent filmmaker, acting as a journalist right now. I used to work for mainstream news years ago for CTV and CBC and Radio Canada.
Radio Canada, okay.
And even ABC New York and a few others. But mainly I work in documentaries for the past 20 years. And yeah, I felt somebody should be covering this, and of course the media's not doing it.
I gotta go a bit because I'm not like you, fancy camera. You know how it is, the wind and all that.
Yeah.
We don't need to have me and you. Yeah, you know how the media is these days. What happened?
Well, listen, I've been seeing the behind the scenes for 20 years. Like, we're the brainwashers, and if you don't think you're being brainwashed, I mean, just go to my timeline at Chris Harrigan, because I've been filming all these protests, and go see all these militant anti-vaxxers, because these were just nursing mothers and mothers, grandmothers, you know, of course there's fathers here also.
We're talking about vaccination there, that it shouldn't be forced on you, charter rights. That's what you're talking about.
There's that, but this isn't really a vaccine issue, because this notwithstanding clause prevents a charter challenge, and you know, that's a major thing. We start allowing them to do stuff like that, and then they can throw it out whatever they want. And I often say I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a non-vaxxer, because I've learned a lot about it in over 10 years. And I don't care if somebody wants vaccines. So what's an anti-vaxxer? I don't care if anybody else wants vaccines.
I'm more interested in you. How is it to be an independent journalist?
Well, again, I'm not a journalist.
No,
a filmmaker.
Filmmaker, video blogger. How's that?
Video blogger. Well, what was the question?
How's it feel to be a video blogger? Go around and you're not mainstream. You're just like me. You're not mainstream media, and you try to give the public a view of what's going on here. Was there any mainstream media here today? I don't think so.
No. And that's the role I've been playing. Like when we had Dr. Lyons, his name escapes me there, and Dr. Sears and Dina Churchill. We had a constitutional lawyer that came down. There was another prominent doctor from Maine.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we brought all of them down, and I was the only one that covered it. They refused to debate, and I'm the only media that covered it. Like, I mean, this is insane. This is news, whichever which way you want to look at it. And so is what's going on here. But then they're spinning it in the media, and people, unless there's somebody, if I wouldn't have shot it, where would be the evidence?
Yeah, no something. Do you only cover this issue, or do you cover other issues?
No, but I'm very much into this issue, and there was plenty of people who vaccinated that were here. It's not about that. It's about the government forcing.
That's why I just told Harvey there. We're talking about it.
Yeah. And I mean, if people think all vaccines are created equal, they're not. These aren't the vaccines from old where it was like a piece of virus or a dead virus and some saline. No, we're talking aborted fetal cells. Go listen to Dr. Teresa Deissner, who leads vaccine teams. You know, and she says there's vaccines she wouldn't grow it out, but these ones with aborted fetal cells, forget it. Like,
so
that
if we're going,
cancer.
sorry, ADHD, it's an ADHD thing. I'll use that as an excuse. We're going to your website. Is there other issues but this that you cover?
Oh yeah. If the best place to find,
that's why I want to talk about you. Listen.
The best place to find my work is just, I made a YouTube channel fairly recently there. It's just Chris Harrigan.
How do you spell the last name?
Harrigan is Harrigan. Harrigan. You'll find interviews with Del Bigtree. You'll find interviews with G. Edward Griffin, the man who exposed the Federal Reserve for what it was way back in the 60s, I believe. You'll find Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney, who was very outspoken about the deep
Congresswoman?
state. Yeah.
Congresswoman?
She's very outspoken about the deep state.
What are you? Are you an American?
No, I was in Acapulco when I met all these people.
Okay.
And let's see.
Pamela Ross. You know Pamela Ross? She would love you. That's all she talks about is American politics. Sorry, this is just a jive to Pamela.
You'll see some David Icke stuff. I filmed David Icke at a supper. But the main one, and this is what launched me in this direction, was I made a film on a guy named Rick Simpson, who is in Nova Scotia claiming to be curing people of cancer and other illnesses with cannabis oil. And
oh yeah, I hear about him. Is that true?
Yeah.
Is it true, or is it just was it a fraud?
From what I've seen with my eyes, it's true.
It's true. No, somebody wanted to go to him. I said, it can't be true.
No, there's lots of science behind this. They know exactly how it works. And
okay.
So.
Do you edit your videos?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah. You just take the bad part, like the mainstream media?
No, it's just because of my...
I'm an agitator. I love to agitate here.
No, but I edit. I played all the roles. I've been an editor for several years. But I also shoot. I do camera, DOP sometimes. And it's rare that somebody does both, but for me it's all one thing, like directing. It's just, and it started there. I just had to pick up a camera and make a movie. I didn't have a crew, I didn't have a budget, and then since then, and another cool one you'll find on my website is that this relevant to this, in my opinion. I went to this town in Mexico called Churan, where they actually kicked out the cartels, the police.
Cartels?
Yeah, the police.
You were there? You were down there?
Yeah.
You're still alive? You're still alive? Huh?
Oh, I mean, well, it's
bloggers. They found a blogger who they were. They beat the shit out of them and hanged them off a bridge. The cartel, that's very dangerous. I admire journalists there to speak up and try to tell them what's going on.
They did. I had 12 armed rangers with me. Like, they brought me up to their sacred sites and stuff. It's all in there. It's just a short film, and it will be a feature when I can get around to making it. But this has kind of caught my attention, and or more than that. And people are supporting me. You know what I mean? Like, people are they see me doing this and.
They give you some money or whatever, it's not important.
They donate, they help out.
And just like me, when this camera breaks or somebody takes this camera and break it across my neck or my head, I ask the public for support. And they said, well, get a job. I offer a service. If I don't have the equipment, I can't do it.
Okay.
So, I mean, people step forward all the time when I ask, and they step forward. And that's what we do, right?
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Now, did I hear this right? You interviewed Dominic Carty.
Yeah.
I saw that interview.
I had to review him many times.
And he said that he had the week before he had the flu all week, right? And he had canceled some. He had to cancel all his appointments and all that. And do you remember that?
Yeah, barely, but yeah.
Well, what I noticed is that week before, he also went around to all the schools. Unless I got this wrong, but it was right on his timeline for photo ops at the schools with the flu.
Everybody had the flu shot.
So his whole big thing. His whole big thing is to protect the immunocompromised. Everybody's got to be vaccinated because we got to protect the immunocompromised. And then unless I'm wrong, then this guy goes to the schools with the flu.
Yeah. But that's right. He did have the flu. Yes, that's right. I remember now.
Now, unless I got it wrong.
That's where I showed up with the dog and the walking stick and my hood in his office and interview him because I remember that because I
called him out on it and he called me an anti-vaxxer spreading misinformation and blocking it. It was right there on his.
Yeah, but hold it. In defense, look, Mr. Horseman. In defense of Mr. Carty, he's a redhead. Are you a redhead too? Is that?
No, I'm blind.
Okay.
My mother's a redhead.
Okay, and you know how these redheads are. I mean, they're stern.
I brought one with me.
Yeah, and they're quick-tempered. They're different, and that's why, Carty. People look at the way he talks. They got to take into consideration that he's a goddamn redhead. You gotta.
Yeah, but I found that if what I saw was correct, that was extremely irresponsible. And then to try to force. I mean, and there's a lot of other sketchy things there, like, in the registry, I understand that there was a lot of pharmaceuticals that were lobbying him just prior to Bill 39.
It's not going to go nowhere anyway. It's not going to go nowhere because Chris Austin and David Cohn said they were against it. There's some MLAs. They're not. It's not going to pass.
And this is all my opinion, and I may be wrong about a few things. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and and I'd be happy.
What's your YouTube again?
Chris Harrigan. Just look that up, Harrigan, and you'll find lots of cool stuff there, including my cannabis film.
I see you.